The founders, okay.
So
Okay.
one of the key executive, one of the key executive,
Okay.
because we have a company. Okay,
Okay.
the background. Okay.
Okay. No problem. I can understand.
Mm.
Hi, welcome to the National Quiz Choice Online News. Save Hyatt. I'm Robin Steinberg, and here today I have Mr. Edmund Uy. He is one of the co-founders of the Asia Academy of Music, Arts, and Science, and he's also the creative director, composer, and 3D stereo vision specialist as well. Welcome, Mr. Uy,
Hello.
and to our show, Save Hyatt. And it's interesting, the growth of Singapore's talent is emerging so much for the last 10 years or more. And you have formed this association, the Asia Academy of Music and Arts and Science, for the very first time here in Singapore. What was your inspiration to drive this cause?
The concept of this academy started when we were trying to establish some kind of a position for music people in Asia, especially in Singapore, and we were in constant communication with our local government in trying to promote music people, the music activities, and in the process, I think people from MDA, a guy spoke to me and said, why don't you come up with some ideas and to sort of solve, or rather to encourage the ecosystem of music in Singapore and Asia. And that's how the whole idea just evolved, and I spoke to a couple of friends, and one of the deep belief I have in music scene in Asia is the fact that at the moment there has no program that recognizes the music people on a peer-to-peer basis. So a peer-driven organization similar to that in the States, where Grammy Awards are given to musicians based on peer-driven kind of selection, where fellow music people choose their own recognition of standards and their own positioning of the quality of music people, allows people who are less privileged, in the sense that they don't really get selected by recording companies, they don't get selected by sponsors, but are extremely talented people who actually fall out of the crack of that very highly protected music environment in Asia, to allow them a chance to be able to be recognized, allow them to, within the peer, be brought forward, especially those who are in the behind the scene, like the arrangers, the composers, the technical sound specialists, the engineers. That's one of the reasons why we feel that the science of music is also understated here in this region, and especially in Singapore. I think a lot of our sound talent, our lighting talents in concerts and music actually are well recognized in Asia, especially Singaporean technical guys, but they are not in a certain way being recognized because there's no platform for them. So Asia Academy of Music, Arts and Sciences provide that platform to help aggregate professional talents, music, be it an orchestra professional musician, be it a sound engineer, be it an arranger, a composer, or someone who participate in creating a product, a music product that is retailed in online or on the shop, to be able to participate as a voting member, to be able to then participate in a show that allows them to exercise that power to select within their peer talent that they agree to be one of the better ones.
And what is the goals and the mission and objective for Asia Academy of Music, Arts and Science?
I think one of the biggest goal is, over time, we are able to give better working conditions for the music people around this region, giving them better profile, giving them better mobility amongst, especially for the music arrangers and music composers and those who are behind the scene, to be a little bit more exposed to the market, exposed to the sponsors as well, exposed to producers, so that they can have better mobility around the region. We also hope to achieve better recognition of standards, so that people who come out into the industry know that they have a certain platform to recognize their standard. And we also want fellow music people to recognize themselves and associate and work better among themselves. So to create a community of respect and a culture of love and care within the music industry.
And what's the definition of music to you? You know, I mean, and for the academy.
Music in our sense in the academy, the definition is really on people who are using music or making music or having a role in participating in professional work. And our outcome of music largely ranges from classical to cultural to pop to even people who actually do production music, street music, dance music. You know, so it's completely a wide it's a wide scan of anything that is really music that has a professional platform. It's a more not for those that you are talking about for the fun of doing it. It's really more for people who are doing it for a living, people who make a life out of playing music. Yeah.
And making life easier for artists, here in Singapore and Asia. Is there any different, from the West and Asia and even from Europe and the Middle East in terms of how music is viewed, and especially being in the industry?
I think for many years the Asian culture has been taking a lot of leadership from the West, especially from the States. We do have some influence from the old culture of classical music from the Europe area, but the popular music, especially those that has more attachment to the younger generation, the new generation, I think Western music has actually transformed itself over time, and each time when they transform, they take themselves into one leap ahead of the local music scene. I mean, gone are the days where Deng Liqin and all these, they used to be a very popular Chinese music stars with Ramli. But in the Malay and the Indonesia and in the Korean and Japanese market, Asia as a whole, I think music has been largely driven by the US standards and US sort of expectation. Largely because I think they have the ability to translate music into money. They know how to monetize it. They have created a very nice ecosystem in the music industry in the States. And I believe a lot of it attributes to the fact that there was a National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, and there's a Grammys there that provide a balance between production companies, publishers, and the talents themselves. That makes them challenge themselves to be better in the craft and in the art. Whereas in the Asia environment, the music has been very much producer-driven, very much company-driven. If a recording company decides on a certain pattern or certain style of a music person, then the recording company will take it on and corner the market. So you'll see some success story. You'll see some that makes a lot of money, but you also will see some that don't even get a chance to be recognized because the media and the whole packaging and everything doesn't allow them to be seen. So I think quality of Asia performance production-wise from from the music production to the stage production, are still a lot lacking in the opportunities in the what you call in the space that we have, and in the kind of recent wealth that we have. I think Asian music has not been able to catch up with it.
And speaking about catching up, what about inflation? Inflation is one of the biggest makeup these days. For artists who are trying to produce their work. And is that going to be a challenge for artists, or is it not true that artists could produce their own work digitally?
You see, it's interesting that you know that we talk about inflation, because the reality is that years ago, to produce a good, decent music, you can't do it by yourself. You need to have your band group, your musician. In the 80s and in the early 90s, there's very little opportunity for you to do your own music without having a few musicians together to put your rhythm section together, your keyboard, and maybe get a drums, or even your saxophone or trumpet or whatever that you want to make your sound good. So in the past, it's unheard of to produce an album or a song without this kind of support. But in today's world, you can do it with a couple of $100 or $1,000 software, because you have the ability to generate good sound. May not be the best sound, but good enough sound, good enough music that allows you with a computer to record your own a song and to expand your creativity, to showcase yourself. And with the internet as the platform for you to showcase, I think the quality of singers that can be auditioned by the public is made easier and cheaper today than before. So if you say that inflation has affected them, but the lowering of cost of software and all, and with the new technology, actually it doesn't really affect a serious person who wants to do it, to be able to do it, because it's definitely more affordable, easier, and bigger audience.
So that will be the future, I suppose, and even now.
Yes, I think there's a lot of opportunity, but being a person who can throw your work out, you are also competing with a lot of other people who can do the same thing. So just being able to sing in the internet does not make it into a business. So I think the whole idea is to create still an ecosystem within the music industry to allow talented people to spend time to create their work, to monetize their work. And it's still important to understand that the industry doesn't just rely on yourself being a one-man show and trying to build it up in the internet. You still need the cohorts of fellow music people, producers, the different specialists to come and look into your work and see how it can be more polished, more recognizable, and even be able to distribute it in the correct channels to get more money.
And so what are the channels today that's made available for new artists or serious artists who wants to establish themselves effectively and yet at a very low cost? Does that mean that they have to perform in places like the bars and to get attention or get recognized, not just the internet, or do they need to go to conferences and other forms of platforms or even festivals? What sort of recommendations would you apply?
I believe that there will be a transition. I think at this moment, if you're really talented and you think that you want to make music a career, I think it's still important to make a demo and pitch it with recognizable publishers with sort of intention for them to sort of recognize you and see whether you have that kind of ability for them to, or the kind of combination of factors that the music publishers think that you can sort of be able to take on further. The internet channel and all are really an opportunity for you to showcase, but you need to market it to the right eyeball, to the right group of people who can say, okay, I like your work, and I think you have that combination of factors that we can take you commercially. I think still there is still the time that needs to take through to get internet into a different level. So at this moment, I think if you're a talent, you have a strong ability and you believe that you're really good in what you do, be it a composer or musical, I think it's still better to try and send it to the correct publishers and all to let them take a look at your work. Of course, the Music Academy can provide that little what we call bridge. We can always help push out and recommend to the community that we have to let them take a look at what can sort of, which producers thinks that the works is good enough for them to take on. Because someone needs to put in the money, put in the whole time and energy to try and build the artist up or use the work. So it is not that easy as you say if you want to be a commercial artist.
I see. And isn't it true that the Asia Academy of Music, Arts and Science you do provide some kind of initiatives to help aspiring new artists? Is that correct? Or
I think what we do is we provide an opportunity for them to know each other. I think we will provide a form of a forum where questions can be asked, and we will try and match it with our board of governors to be able to give them some fruitful advice or responses. And we can provide that bridge. We can provide that recommendation, we can send the information out to people, and hopefully we can be of assistance in that area.
And speaking about assistance, what's next for your organization? The kind of indicators that will assist the growth for musicians and the arts to be commercially viable. Is that going to be a real challenge ahead?
I think the real mission for us is to be able to make music larger than what it is industry. We want to grow the industry. We want to grow the opportunity for people to participate in the music. There are two levels of people that we are looking for. We are looking for people who, because of the academy and because of the ability for us to report and give accurate kind of network and messages to the public, we hope that more investors are able to look at music as a serious business for them to participate and to invest in. At the same time, to allow talented people who have before not good confidence in the industry to step forward and say, okay, maybe we should give it a shot in the industry.
And also, are there challenges ahead, especially in the economic strains in the United States and Europe? Will that impact the investments in the arts here in Asia? Because, as you know, the US dollar and the Eurozone is uncertain these days. How does that affect the arts and the artists?
Many years in my career as a producer and also as a musician before, and knowing a lot of my fellow music people, generally I think the music industry has not suffered a lot during the various crises that happened in the past. I think there are probably some cancellation of shows and things like that, but it doesn't make any big real impact on the career of music people. It may maybe on the very top end artists, because maybe the sponsorship will be lower, less. But on the majority of the music professionals are a necessity part of our human life. You need music in our life. We need songs in our life. We need music to keep us sane, to keep us going, to motivate us, to share our emotions in the space and in the spiritual world. So in this aspect, religious music has always been maintained at a very high level, be it the Buddhist music, the Muslim, and the Chinese music, in their own different way, has in a way provided a very stable kind of environment for the industry. So I do feel that the crisis will not affect the music people a lot, but it may affect a little bit on the top end.
And are there any plans for co-productions in Singapore and Asia at this point in time, and even for the future?
Singapore has always been, a lot of our music companies has always been doing work regionally. We bring in a lot of music people, professional music people from the Philippines, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, and we do bring, and recently I think we have some from Europe and US even, to come to perform in Singapore on a regular basis. And Singapore music people, especially those in the engineering field, the writers, the sound engineers, has always been involved in the concerts of the regional artists from Taiwan, artists from Hong Kong. Our musicians are well recognized in the region because we have very good musicians in Singapore that are stable and very respected by the Asian community in the music scene. Though I feel that they are terribly underpaid, but again, this is the ecosystem
that will change.
That I hope will change to have a better distribution of wealth between those that is making hell of money and those that is making work for those who make a lot of money, to actually balance out their income.
Now, as for the Asia Academy of Music and Arts and Science, how are you going to generate funding to sustain itself? And will you guys be collaborating with the institutions here in Singapore as well, just so that more can be done to establish more artists and go into the field, and they're able to find an opportunity for them to see that it is a career path?
Okay, funding will always be a challenge for us. I think we need a lot of help. We need a lot of funding. We want to stage our first show as soon as possible. We have challenges ahead. We are still trying to finalize some of the first show element. We have a captive group of interested parties and who want to sponsor us, but we are still feeling our ground, trying to sort out our what they call a very challenging Asia path that we are sorting out. So yes, I think one of the key things is that we are constantly looking for funding partners, be it sponsors or be it people who are interested to put in effort to help grow the music industry in Asia, and people who genuinely believe that music industry needs a kind of a very strong alliance of like-minded music people to come in and sort of take it together to the next level. So our current funding model is really to get funding for the ongoing membership program that we're doing. at the same time to plan for our show, which we are in the process of still working out some details.
Now, speaking about details, now what's next for Singapore and Far East? Do you think Singapore talent or the industry has done enough? Other than you have talents like Sun and so forth. What kind of challenges do you foresee, and could you tell us the kind of benefits that artists and investors if they could encourage and grow the arts and music, because the investors don't see any benefit sometimes, and so do the artists, because the generation still believe that music can't make money, and some do believe in it. What kind of benefits could you give advice for the investors and the artists?
Music has always been an expression of a culture, expression of a certain emotions, and it's expression of certain trends and lifestyle. It is important for us to maintain a certain level of character in where we are, what we are. Singapore itself is a place where we build our own culture and our own music. Likewise, in different genres that we're in. I think the important thing is that we cannot live without music. I don't think it will be a very boring world if music doesn't ring in our ears. We have a problem with people who thinks that music must be a very terrible industry. Music must be an industry that makes a lot of money. Yes, music industry in the States makes a lot of money. Music in Asia makes some money, but maybe some make more than others. I would strongly advise that music needs a lot of support, both from government or from people who has make it in their life, and they think that there's a certain what I call expression that they want to give to the society, and all. Music is a place where they can do something. But music as a business in Asia will take some time to grow. People monetize music through events or through concert and all. Production music that people use for like TV programs, road shows, programs that are non what I call documentaries, where they don't need a singer. So those kind of music still are needed and necessary. But do you really make money out of it? It's not a big business in that sense. So I would say that for music spending and music to be a successful business, again it boils down to how do we create, from the government standpoint or from a society standpoint, a better appreciation of music, a better understanding of the music. If today we are constantly listening to music that has a certain culture or certain form of expression that transform our thinking, our life, then our society will be turning into that kind of thinking. I mean, say for example, Korean K-pop. K-pop in China is considered, in a way, a soft cultural invasion into the culture that they have. K-pop is very popular among the younger people in Singapore, and it has actually transformed the way they think in terms of their fashion sense, in terms of their image of what they think is a handsome boy or pretty girl. And it has actually moved a little bit away from the old thinking of what I see an American actor or on screen, and now I see a K-pop singer. So the music has a way to transform a culture, And if we build our culture on our society now, and we refuse to participate in building our own culture, then one day you will see K-pop everywhere, and the Korean culture will become part of your life. So if you want to transform and let people understand a little bit more from our Singapore culture, or Malaysian culture, or Indian culture, I think we've got to step up. We've got to step up by putting more effort in providing support and funding to give this Asian, diverse Asian ethnic groups more opportunity to build their own culture, their own, and balance it up with the K-pop or the J-pop or even the American culture too, so that it has a certain modernization or trend in tune kind of a status to attract the younger generation, who ultimately become the people who will follow this trend. So that, to me, I think is the very complex answer to your very simple question.
So that will be your advice for investors and artists?
For basically for generally our society to spend more effort in building our own music, in a sense.
And what I heard that Quincy Jones is also has joined, your society.
He's the chairman.
That's right. The chairman of the Asian Academy of Music, Arts and Science. What role does he going to have an impact?
I think a lot of people who are in the music circle has great respect for Quincy as a producer, as a musician, and as one of the person who has championed music all his life. I think he was one of the pioneers in the Grammys. He won many Grammy Awards, and in order to win many Grammy Awards, you must be actively in the music industry doing work. And to be fair to the industry, if you don't give yourself time and build up and put in effort to build your work and let your work be recognized, then let other people do it. But the fact that Quincy, up to today, he's in his 80s, are still contributing to music. I mean, still giving his energy and giving his time to build. I think that is worth respect. And not to say just Quincy. I mean, the fellow other board governors that also share that passion. Jeremy Montero, Lee Siso, team, Peter Casey, who actually step forward and want to do the same to help build music into a more recognizable and more better status in tantrum to what Quincy's inspiration is. That itself brings to us, number one, an idea that music doesn't stop at a certain age. You don't retire, you continue to make music all your life. You can do that. Quincy has produced many record-breaking sales in his production. When he made Michael Jackson what he is, I would say he's one of those who has actually helped Michael Jackson in his career with Thriller. Thriller is a great production, a couple of other good songs. In the early days of working, in the helping the blacks music people get certain recognition. So, in his aspiration to make music relevant to his community and to US as a larger base, and also